Hey you guys! Today I'm going to be doing a video on health and safety and other information you should know while learning to eat fire. Um, First of all, I think several of these are fairly intuitive, but I've gotten a lot of questions over them, so I want to address those and make sure that everybody knows pretty much what they're getting into while doing this. So, first thing is, obviously you're using fire, so you're going to get burned. It's just the reality. So you can minimize these burns by using proper technique, by learning from people who know what they're talking about, things like that. It helps you have someone in person to help you with it. I try to create a good learning source via the internet for people because if you're anything like me, there isn't another fire performer within a 200-mile radius, and you're obviously not going to get that. But if you do have somebody in your area who's already doing this, who'd be willing to help, have them help you out with it in person, and that'll minimize your chances for burns and dangers and things like that. So just kind of, it's a reality, you will get burned. If you use good technique, then those burns will be small and minor and not too life-threatening. But if you're not using good technique, you're not using the right fuels, then it could quite literally be fatal. So just know what you're getting into, learn your fuels, and be safe about it. Use good technique, things like that. The other thing is heat and your teeth, especially while fire eating. I don't do torch holds in my teeth, and I don't teach it because when you do this, you can actually get heat fractures through your teeth, and your teeth basically crack and disintegrate and fall apart. So that's why I don't teach that and why I don't recommend it. Every so often, there's a fine line. If you're just kind of like putting it in and passing, I would suspect that you would be okay. But if you're going to pull like a Lucifer and stand there and hold it in there for like 3 minutes, it's not going to be a good thing. So I don't personally do torch holds. If you do it, that's your thing. But just know that you can get heat fractures. And even just holding it in your mouth, not necessarily in your teeth, but holding it in your mouth or, anywhere in here where your teeth are, if you feel your teeth heating up, pull it out, take a drink of cool water, kind of cool them off a little bit, and just kind of watch that because that is a possibility to get heat fractures in your teeth. The third thing is I wanted to address fuel. I go over the fuel that I use quite a bit in my tutorials, but people keep asking me about it, so I wanted to put out another video showing what I do use. This is what I use. This is Coleman's Camp Fuel. I'm going to try and get it so it's not so shiny. I get this in my local Walmart, and if you're out of the US, then it probably won't be Coleman's Camp Fuel. This essentially is white gas or naphtha. So if you can find white gas anywhere, it's pretty much the same thing as this. It is an explosive, so if you have large quantities of it near fire or anything like that, it's not going to be a good thing, so make sure that you're very safe with your fuel. It has a very low flash point, which means that it's easier to ignite. So really make sure that you keep a lid on this and that you keep your fuel away from your fire when you do this. So outside of the US, like I said, will be naphtha or white gas. I believe in Canada it's naphtha, but if it's not, correct me in the comment section on here. So yeah, I just get this in the camping section of my local Walmart. I'll show it to you again. It's about $10. I like the gallon-sized ones. They have them in little red plastic bottles, but I've never used them because it's like premium fuel, and I'm not sure what makes it different from this, which I've always used, so I don't want to get something that's super toxic or something that's going to be bad. So if you know if it's the same thing or if it's something completely different, again, put it in the comment section of this and we'll build the resource. Yeah, and as you see, there are many warning labels on the front saying danger, harmful if swallowed, don't inhale, things like that. It's true. And again, I thought that some of these things were kind of intuitive, but Fuel isn't good for you. Don't drink this. It's bad. um, Putting it in your mouth while burning, you still do get fuel, like with tongue passes, where if you put the fuel on your tongue and then you do the transfer, things like that. For our purposes, we aren't really using enough of it for it to be fatal. If I open this up and start drinking it, I would die, so don't do that. Also, there is danger of getting cancer from it, which is a very real danger. So know that going into this, that you can possibly contract cancer from this. However, in the amounts that we're using, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a problem with causing cancer. So it's not like we're doing fire breathing where we're going to hold a mouthful of it. We're using trace amounts, and usually it's being burned away as soon as it gets in there. But to stay safe, you've all heard me use the term take charcoal, which I explained in one of my videos. I'm going to explain it again here. I got this bottle of charcoal tablets. I don't have it with me right now, but at my local health food store, I'm sure you can get them at Walmart or other, big food, clothing stores, whatever. But yeah, it's just this bottle of charcoal tablets. They're little capsules full of activated charcoal, and you take them 15-20 minutes before you start fire eating, and it will help to absorb the toxins that your body takes in, and it'll help move them out of your body. So when I say take charcoal, I don't mean go out and buy yourself a bag of charcoal, like barbecue charcoal, and start chewing on it. That's a bad deal. Don't do that. But go to your health food store, go to Walmart, your other superstore, and look around, see what there is, and get yourself some if that's a concern of yours. If you're not really concerned about it, then that's your thing. But if I'm going to be doing some real heavy duty fire eating, like a show or something, I definitely want to take some charcoal. But if I'm just going to go outside and make sure I have a tongue pass down or something like that, then I'm not really going to worry about it. But, always make sure you have your bases covered as far as fire safety and personal safety, personal health with the fuel toxicity and things like that. So always make sure that you're using good, clean fuel. I'll show you this again, and I'll reiterate what it is. Coleman's Camp Fuel, also known as white gas, outside of the U.S. Look at it. This is what I use. Okay. Another thing to think about, apart from your internal safety and the toxicity of fuel and using charcoal to combat that, is the clothing that you wear while doing this. This one of my largest pet peeves with people doing fire things is their costumes. It's like, people are like, oh yeah, I got this really awesome polyester body wrap that I'm going to perform in, and it's just a bad deal. The clothing you want to wear while doing fire artistry at all, whether it's poi or hoop or fire eating or anything like that, you want to wear natural fibers, which are leather, cotton, denim, silk, wool, things like that, because yes, those are flammable, like cotton, things like that. Yes, those are very flammable. The key is that they will not melt. You will not have to have a cotton shirt surgically removed from your torso if it catches on fire. So things like polyester, spandex, neoprene, anything else that is synthetic, you do not want to wear it, because if it catches on fire, it won't just burn, it will melt. And that's the big distinction there, is if it's something like leather where it won't necessarily burn, great. But if you can't afford leather, then denim or cotton is okay. And know that yes, it will burn, but that's kind of the upside, is that it will just burn. It won't melt to your skin and need to be surgically removed. So those are all things that you should be worried about and making sure that you have down and taken care of. is you want to know that, yes, you will get burned while doing this. You want to know that if you use good technique and good fire safety, that these burns will be less, which I highly recommend you do your research on fire safety, things like that, to help minimize the burns, or how to care for your burns if you do get one. If you go to homeofpoi.com, Home of Poi, they have all kinds of articles and resources on how to treat burns, how to recognize what stage of burn, whether it's if it's a 3rd degree burn, if it's a 1st degree burn, 2nd degree burn, whatever. They teach you how to recognize those and how to treat each one individually. So definitely go on there and check that out. You want to know that there's a possibility for heat fractures in your teeth if you hold it in your teeth too long, or if you hold it around your teeth and let your teeth heat up. So definitely be careful of that. Also, know that the fuel you're using is in fact toxic, so be careful with that, and watch your absorption level. If you're doing a lot of things where you're really slathering your tongue with fuel and then lighting it on fire, you're probably going to want to back off on that a little bit, or start taking charcoal. And I'll reiterate that that means the little charcoal tablets that I got at my local health food store. You can probably get them at Walmart or any other superstore. And I take those. I take 2 of them about 15 minutes before I do a big fire eating session. And also make sure that you're wearing natural fibers so that you don't need your costume surgically removed from your body, because that's a bad deal. So don't do that. And so that's the health and safety for fire eating. Let me know if you have any questions.